Hey guys, what's up? It's me, the Cubing Bear, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'll be showing you how to solve the 3x3. This is going to be a very basic and very beginner-friendly tutorial, as we will be covering very minimal algorithms and using more intuitive-based solving to go ahead and solve our Rubik's Cube. Now, before we actually get to solving the Rubik's Cube, there are a couple things that you should keep in mind of. Number one is understanding what each side means. So on a 3x3 Rubik's Cube, we have one thing that's never going to change, and that is going to be the center. The center never changes, which means because this has an orange center, we know that this is always going to be the orange side. We know this is going to be a white side because it has a white center. We know this is going to be red because it has a red, yellow because there's a yellow center, green because there's a green center, and blue because there's a blue center. So that's one thing to keep in mind of. Another thing that will never change is opposites. So the side opposite of red is always going to be orange. The side opposite to green is always going to be blue. And the side opposite to yellow is going to be white, and vice versa. One other thing that we want to analyze while we're solving the Rubik's Cube is understanding what the 3x3 is actually made up of. The 3x3 is made up of two corners, as you can see here, and one edge. So when I say we're looking for an edge, you'll know that we're always looking for one of these middle pieces. If I say we're looking for a corner, it's either going to be on this side or this side of a face. This tutorial is going to be broken up into several parts. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to solve the cross. After we solve the cross, we're going to be putting different corner pieces to make a whole side. Once we have solved for all the sides, we're going to be plugging in these edge pieces to solve two layers. Then we'll be creating another cross on the yellow side, orientating all the pieces to look up so we have a complete yellow layer. Then moving all the edge pieces and corner pieces so that everything aligns on the sides, to then we can finally solve the Rubik's Cube as a whole. Algorithms and chapters of each part of the tutorial will be linked in the description below. Now that we got all the logistics out of the way, let's go ahead and start solving. The first thing you want to do is when you have a Rubik's Cube is go ahead and scramble it up. Okay, so now that we have the Rubik's Cube all scrambled up, the first step that we're going to do is we're going to try to make the white cross. Now, in order for us to make the white cross, we want to be looking for the four edge pieces of the white side. So that means we're looking for this side, that means we're looking for this, and this. So how are we going to find them? Well, we can already see we have two already. And if we look on the side, we can see that the edge color also matches with the center, which is what we want. So as you can see, we have orange with orange, white with white, so that's good so far. But we see that we have this edge piece right here and we want to move it up. So the first step is to move all of the edge pieces to the yellow side. The first step is to move all these white edge pieces to the yellow side because that's opposite of white. So we're going to do that right now. So if you already have some at the bottom, go ahead and move them up by simply doing a U2, which looks like this. And if we look to the yellow side, we have two of the edge pieces. And now we want to move this one upstairs. So even though we're in a case like this, where the edge piece is supposed to be here and the blue is supposed to be there, even though they're switched, we still want to move it up. So you want to do a U2 and it should be up there. Next, we'll go around and look for the next piece, and we can see that the edge piece is actually where it's supposed to be. It's right here. So now what we want to do is looking at, first we'll work on the pieces that already have the white facing up. So what we want to do is look down and see if the orange matches with the center. So in this case, orange does not match with blue, so we're going to skip it to the next side. We can see that orange does not go with red, so we're going to skip it to the next side. Orange does not match with green, so we're going to go to the next side. And we see that orange does match with orange, which means we're going to move it down now. So that means we're going to do a simple clockwise turn 2 times. 1, 2. And once you have it done like that, you are ready to move on to the next edge piece. So looking up at the other side, we can see we have this red one right here. And if we look at the edge piece with the green center, we can see that we don't have that matched yet. So what we can do is we can keep moving it until we see it match. So you can see now that they're matched up, I can simply bring it down now. And so far I have a line. So now we're going to move on to this case right here where we see that we have the white piece, but it's facing the wrong way. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the top color, in which case the top color is blue. We're going to move it until we have it matched up with the blue side. And here it is right here. So what you're going to do, holding it like this, is you're simply going to either move it to the left or to the right. It's up to you. But for our case, we'll move it to the right. And then we can see that the white pieces are here. We're going to move it down. We're going to move it down. Once we move it down, we're going to move it out of the way. And we're going to bring this piece back up. And what that has done is that has put it in the piece and nothing has been damaged. So let's try it again. Let's try it again now, but let's say if it was on the left side. So let's say you wanted to go left. Well, we can see the blues right here, center's right there. We're gonna move it down. They match up. We're gonna move it out of the way. We're gonna move it up. And just like that, we've created the edge piece. Now, one important thing to keep in mind here is that we cannot put an edge if the color does not match with the center. That will damage the progress we've done. So it's really important that you know that whatever center you're on, it has to match the colors. All right, so now I have my piece matched up. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is, since the green matches with the center, I'm gonna go to the right. That piece is right there, and it's gonna wanna match up with the center. So we're gonna move it down. Now we have the center right there, but we damaged a little bit of our progress. So we're gonna move it out of the way and then move that piece back up that we moved down. And just like that, we've created the white center. Now, to know if you did it right or wrong, you want to look at the sides and see if the edge and the center match up together. Orange and orange matches, green and green matches, and red and grit, and red and white, and red matches. So that means we have successfully done the cross and we did it in the correct order. We're going to go ahead and try this one more time to make sure that we have everything solidified down. All right, so here we have another Rubik's Cube that's also scrambled. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to find where all of our edge pieces are. So you can see I already found one right here. And I want it to go up to the yellow side. So all I'm going to do is facing the cube, I'm going to move this until this is where it's supposed to be. And it's okay if it's not in the correct order. We just want them all on the yellow side. We're going to go to the next face. As you can see, there's one right here. So I'm going to simply move it up. And it should be up there. We're going to look here. I don't see any white edge piece, so I'm going to go to the next side. So I see that there is one. There's actually one right here. But there's also one right here on the side. And if I try to move it up, I'm going to end up moving that one away. So what you can do to fix that is, the thing that you can do to fix that is you can move the yellow side, this one right here, until there's a free space. And in this case, there is a free space because I don't see any white on this edge. And I see a white right here that wants to go up. So I'm going to move it up. And just like that, I have successfully done them. And I know that this is the right piece because it has a white. So that means I have 4 of the white edge pieces on the yellow side. Okay, so for my pieces that are already facing up, we're going to work with those first. We're going to look at them and see if they match up with their centerpiece. As you can see, the red and the green do not match. So we're going to keep moving the green until we see a match, and we see it matches. So we're going to move it down 2 times. So it's down there. Go to the next one. This is red, but it doesn't match with orange. So we're going to keep moving the red until red matches with red, and then we're going to move it down. Let's see. Okay, now I'm working with orange and white. The orange does not match the center, so this is not the correct side. We see that it does match here, so it is the correct side, so we're going to move it down. Then we have our final piece. As we can see, it's on its correct side. It's supposed to be here, but it's flipped. So we're going to either pick left or right. I'm going to go to the right, move it down, move this out of the way so I can move this face back up because that's what I did. And just like that, I have created the white cross, and we're making sure that all of the centers match up, and they do. So we have successfully done the cross 2 times, and now we can move on to the next step. Now that we have these edges solved, we're going to go ahead and solve for these corner pieces. Now to find the corner pieces, once again, we want to make sure they're on our yellow side, and we can already see there's one right here. And the way to insert a corner piece, as you can see, we have a corner piece right here. And the way to insert it is you want to look at the 2 colors. So right now we have a red and a green, and it's white. So looking at this edge piece right here, you could see that we have a white, a green, and a red. Now, the important thing here is that this side color has to match with the center. The important thing is that this edge right here has to match with the center. So in which case we have the white, but we also want to make sure that the green matches with the center, and it does in this case. So what we're going to do is, now that we know it's like that, we're going to make sure that we're facing the white, so it's facing us. We're going to hold it like this so that the white is facing us. We're going to move it down. When we look down, we can see that we've damaged our cross, but we're going to move that out of the way to the left, move that cross back down, and then move this back. And what that has done is that it has successfully moved that piece to the corner. So we have successfully put a corner piece in, and we're going to do that with all the rest of them. So if we keep looking around, we can see that we have our first corner piece right here. So we're going to see to make sure So we're going to see to make sure that the orange and the red match up together, and we can see that it does. So we're going to keep moving until orange and orange match. Here we go. Orange and orange matches up, which means we can do it. So we're going to make sure that the white is facing us. We're going to move it down. Once we have it down, we're going to move it to the left, move that cross piece back up, and then move this back. Now, after looking around at the yellow side for a while, you'll come across a situation where I don't have any white pieces on the white. That means that they're stuck at the bottom. So what do you do when they're stuck at the bottom? What you're going to do is you're going to pretend that this is the right piece right here, and we're going to insert it as if it was the right piece. We're going to move it down, move it out of the way, move this back up, move this back, and that has taken out the corner piece. So now we can see, is this the right side? We see that the red matches up with the red, which means this is the right side. So we're going to move it down, move this out of the way, move this back up, move this back. As you can see, we solved the corner piece. So this is the last corner piece. And once again, it's down here instead of being up here. So we're going to pretend that this green is the correct piece. And we're going to move it down, move it to the left, move this edge piece back up. We're going to move this back. Okay. So now so this is the correct piece because I know that the blue matches up with the blue. So we're going to move that down, move it to the left, move this piece back up, and move this piece back. And we have successfully done the first complete side of the Rubik's Cube. Now we have a special case right here. What do I do? Now, some of you may come across this case. You'll come across a case like this where we have the correct piece, everything is in, but we're missing this last piece. But when I can't see the white on either the left or the right, it's actually on top. So how do we fix that? Well, to do that, you're going to go ahead and pretend either looking at this way or looking at this way. You're going to pretend that this is the correct side. You're going to move it down, put this to the left, move this edge piece, move it back up. And what that has done is moved it to the bottom. And that's an okay thing. We're going to do that same process again. We're going to pretend that this is the correct side. We're going to move it down, move it to the left, move the edge piece back up, move this back up. And now we have rotated it. So now we can put it in as if this is the correct piece, and it is the correct piece because white is facing us. Move it down, move this out of the way, move this back up, and put this back. And now that has solved your white side. All right, so now that we have finished solving for our white side, the next step is to put the correct edge piece in these 4 slots right here. Once we put those 4 slots, we will have 2 out of the 3 layers completed. So let's go ahead and look for those slots and see what they look like. An important thing to note about these specific edges is that they do not have white or yellow. So you're looking for an edge that does not have white or yellow. It's going to have 2 different colors on them. And so if I look up at the top of the yellow side, I can see I already have one. I have orange and blue, which means I know that they're one of the edge pieces I need to put in. So to start off, you want to make sure. So to start off, whichever edge piece you choose, make sure that the edge color is collected. Make sure that the edge color matches the center color. So in this case, it doesn't. We're going to keep moving it until it does. Here it does. And if we look at the top, we know, and if we look at the top, we know this is blue, which means it has to go on this side. It has to go between orange and blue. So we know it has to fit right there. So in order for us to put it in there, what we're first going to do is we're going to move it opposite of where it needs to go. So because it needs to go on our right side, we're going to move it to the left. We're going to go ahead and bring up our corner piece. We're going to bring up our corner piece. We're going to put this back. We're going to move this white stuff down. And what that has done is it has paired the corner with the edge. Now what we've done is we've paired a corner with an edge, which means now we can put it in as if it was a corner. So like we did before, orange is matching with orange, which means that this is facing us. We can put it down, move this out of the way, move this back up, and move it back. And just like that, we've put in the edge by pairing the corner with the edge. All right, let's keep looking. So we could see on our yellow side, we see that we have this red and blue, which is the kind of edge piece I'm looking for because I want something that does not have white or yellow on it. So we're going to move this until we have it on the red center. And we do. So now that we know it's on the red center, we're going to look at the top color. That's blue. And blue is on the left, which means we know it wants to go right here. So we're going to move it opposite of where it wants to go. So because it would be on my left hand, if I put it in, it'll be here. We're going to move it to the right. So we're going to move it this way, move this up, move this piece back. We're going to push this all back down, and we've paired up the corner with the edge. So now we can pretend it's a corner again, move it down, move it out of the way, move this piece back, and then move this back. So now we've done another side. We're going to keep looking. We can see we have one right here. It's green and red. I'm going to make sure that the green matches up with the center, and it does. Since it wants to go where my left would be, I'm going to move it out of the way. We're going to move this corner back up, move this back, move everything down. That has paired up the corner and the edge together. Now we're going to pretend it's a corner, and we're going to put it down, move it out of the way, move this back up, and move this back. So now we're on our last one. We're looking around, and we can see we found it. It's right here at the top. Now that we have it here, we're going to go ahead, since it wants to go on the left right here, we're going to move it to the right, move the corner up, move it back, the edge, put it back down. We've paired it up. Now we can go ahead and pretend it's a corner, put it down, move it out of the way, move this back up, and then move this back. And just like that, we have solved for the first two layers of the Rubik's Cube. Now, something that may come up for you is if you are trying to look for the piece, but you notice it's in there, but it's flipped. How would you try to flip it back? So the thing we're going to do is we're going to pretend once again that this is the correct one, and we're going to replace it. So we're going to pretend that this is the right edge. We're going to put it in as if it was trying to go in. And then that automatically takes it out. So then we can put it the correct way. Make sure orange matches with orange. Move it back. Since it wants to go on the left, we're going to make sure it goes to the right. Move the corner up. Move the edge back. Move everything down. Now it's a corner, so we can move it down. Move everything out of the way. Move this back up, and then move this back. So now we've successfully done it again, and now you know what to do in that special case. All right, so now that we have this solved for, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look for an L bar. Now, because there's a bunch of stuff up here, you don't know what I'm looking for. An L bar is something like this. So it's something with it's a center with two edge pieces. That's called an L. So that's what I'm looking for when I say look for an L bar. And on this cube we have it, so we're going to try with this case first. We can see from this block here that it does have an L inside of it, which means I found it. Now what I want to do is make sure it's on the top left. So always make sure you move around your yellow side like this until the L is on the top left corner. So now that it's like that, with the L on top, I'm going to face towards this side. So make sure that whatever side it's facing me, I'm looking at it from top down. Now I want to look at it like this. And we're going to perform this specific algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And what that has done is it's turned the L into a straight line. And we're going to do that algorithm one more time. So F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And what that has done is that it's created a yellow cross. Now here are some special cases you would come across. What if like there's nothing on top and everything's on the side? You're going to pick any side you want, and you're going to do the algorithm again. You're going to do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. So what that does is that it creates it makes the L bar. So we're going to make sure it's on the left, the top left, and we're going to perform it again. So F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F. We made a long line, so we're going to do it one more time. We're going to do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And that makes the cross. So we're making sure that our white is on our right side, our yellow is on our left, and we're going to perform this algorithm. You're going to perform the following algorithm until that yellow side is switched upward. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to do U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, check. So we can see that this does already have the yellow facing upward, which means we're only going to move this side right here. We're going to move it either like this, or either move it up or move it down until we find another empty spot. So we're going to move it down. That's full. Down. This is empty, which means that this needs to be rotated. So we're going to perform the algorithm again, making sure we did not move our right hand. Make sure that you're always facing like this, because if you were accidentally moving like this or like this, the algorithm will be messed up and your whole cube will be scrambled. So it's really important that you make sure that you're only moving this side to look for pieces. So now we found one. We're going to do the algorithm one more time. So it's going to be U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R. And so if we look up, you guys can see we've completely solved for all of the pieces and they're all facing upward. And now we can move on to the last part. Let's say you come across a case like this where there's no corners facing up and you don't know where to start. If that's the case, you could start anywhere and we could do the algorithm. So we're going to make sure that the yellow cross is on our left hand, and the entire white side is on our right side hand right here. And we're going to hold it like this. So we're going to perform the algorithm again. U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R. Let's check. Okay, so that's been filled, which means we can only move this side, only this side where our left hand is. We can only move on this side. So we're going to move down. That doesn't have the yellow, which means we need to perform the algorithm here. So we're going to do it again. U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R. So this solved itself out, which means it completed a whole cycle. That's connected. So now we can move on to the next side. We're going to perform the algorithm again. U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R. This is complete, which means we can move on to the next side. This is the last one. So we're going to do it again. U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R. And that will solve for the entire yellow side. So now that we made it to this step of solving the Rubik's Cube, the next thing that we want to be looking for are called headlights. And if we look here on this particular case, we don't have headlights. So let me show you on this cube what it looks like. So typically this is what headlights look like. It looks like two corner pieces that are solved, but the edge piece in the middle is not. And the reason why we call it headlights is because it's kind of like a car. These two are solved and the middle one isn't. So you want to be looking for something like that. If we do not have any headlights, like in this case, we're going to pretend that one side does. So let's say this side has headlights. Let's just pretend that it does. And what we're going to do is we're going to go opposite of where our headlights are right here. And we're going to perform the following algorithm. R prime, F, R prime, back 2 times, R, F prime, move it back down, back 2 times, and then we're going to do an R2. And what that has done, if we look around, it created another set of headlights. So we just created headlights. So now that we made our headlights, we're going to go opposite once again of where the headlights are, and we're going to perform the algorithm again, and it will be down here at the bottom, so you can follow along. I will go very slowly. And as you can see, what it has done is that it has created a bunch of headlights and gave us one solved side. We have one solved side, but we're missing these last final pieces, and all that they're missing is to switch around the edges. So in order to fix it, you want to find your solved side. We can see we have an entire solved side right here. We're going to go opposite of that. Yeah, we're going to go opposite of where that is. So that's this side. We're going to perform the following algorithm. We're going to do an F2. Once we do that, we want to make sure we find the edge either left or right that has the correct color, which means because this is the green side, we want to look for the green edge and it's right here. We're going to actually move it there. We're going to move both this side and this side down. We're going to do another F2. We're going to move them back up. And now what we want to do is we want to make sure that since this is green, we want to look for the green block. Here's the green block. We're going to move it back and perform an F2. Once you do that, the entire Rubik's Cube has been solved. A very similar case you'll come across when you solve for the headlights is you'll see a case like this where we don't have a single solved side and we don't know how to do that last part. So here's what you're going to do. If you have no solved side at the end, what you're going to do is you're going to pretend that one side is solved. So in this case, let's pretend this red side solved. We're going to go opposite of that. We're going to do the same algorithm. We're going to do F2. None of them match, so we can just pretend that one of them is the correct one again. So we'll pretend that this is correct. We'll move it here, move the left and the right down, do an F2 again, move them back up. So we could see, we'll look for the bar. So this is the bar that matches up with this color. So we're going to move it back, form an F2. And if we look around, we did have a solved side now. So now we can perform it one more time. So if you have a solved side, move opposite of it, do an F2, move the edge piece that's the same color as the center. So in this case, it's that green. You're going to move it towards it, move both the left and the right down, perform an F2 again, move both back up. Now match the bar with the color and then do an F2. And that will solve the entire Rubik's Cube. So now that you've learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube, I'm going to give you two practice solves that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do two. Now that we solved the Rubik's Cube, congratulations. And if you have if you want to see another tutorial, or if you want to see it again but a little bit faster, here I'm going to do 2 more solves. I'm not going to talk, but I am going to point out what I'm doing, and I'll also put subtitles of what I'm doing as well, just so you can see what it looks like when you're doing it yourself. Oh my God. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that you were able to solve your Rubik's Cube and start your cubing journey. A lot of people start off solving the Rubik's Cube, and fun fact, this was actually the very first Rubik's Cube I ever solved, the Moyu Aolong version 2. Cubing has come a long way, and I hope that this tutorial has helped you. If you're a beginner, hopefully it helped you start off your cubing journey and you solved your Rubik's Cube. I will be coming out with more advanced tutorials very soon, and in the next tutorial, I will be teaching you how to solve a 4x4, so stay tuned for that video. If you guys like this video, be sure to go ahead and give the video a like, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. I will see you all in the next one. It's the Cubing Bear out. Peace out, guys.